don't work together. I know you, obviously, and I appreciate you coming out to the town halls.
What do you mean we don't work together?
But I meant you aren't on a daily basis talking to me about this process.
Oh, right.
So, because you've been to the town halls, you've been wonderful in coming out and learning and understanding and sharing those things like what you just did, because it does help us have a picture. And I do feel an obligation to say that we are well aware of all of these issues. I spent many hours with the commissioner, all the commissioners and Mr. Evans with the Board of Education. That transitional aid was cut. It was something that I think's probably been coming for a while, but came as a surprise when it came. The timing of the year, it was unbelievable to all of us. I also was working in Trenton on that. I worked with Mr. Evans on that. You should know that, and you've heard me, probably all of you, talk about it in various venues. Because we were able to work together, because we were able to have those conversations, because we were able to shoulder to shoulder do some brainstorming and thinking, the board was able to contribute to offset some of that transitional aid cost. We were able to work with them on some solutions. And the impact, which could have been critical, huge, we were able to help them mitigate to be a $2 addition this year. We are also looking forward. I don't have a crystal ball, you're right. I don't know the timing at all. I can't answer about the transitional aid or where that revenue will come from, but I'm also going to tell you that in listening to all of the Board of Commissioners meetings and the zoning and planning boards and reading all of the press on what's happening with the development of that property, we don't stand to make revenue for 5 years, 10 years. So we can't wait. I'm sorry that we cannot wait on our decision to know whether we're going to have enough revenue to offset to finally make the schools better. We've had lots of conversations with the realtors. We've done coffees with them. They've come out very strong, and I appreciate that, giving us the data points on property values, on sales, on what's on the market, looking at a statewide analysis through the multiple listing service, comparing single family housing, multi-housing, and apartment and rentals. They don't agree with your statement that it's doom and gloom for property values.
I didn't say it's doom and gloom.
No, I'm saying if we continue
Don't put
to
words
raise.
in my mouth. I didn't say doom and gloom.
If we continue to raise taxes, that we won't continue to draw families and other communities.
Let me just add, I don't know if the people understand how transitional aid works.
Okay.
All right? In other words, we put legislation through that was helped develop by the commissioners here,
Yes.
myself, and the state of New Jersey. Both houses of the legislature approved it. It would have been better if the governor had signed that bill, which he didn't sign it because he wanted to have the authority to put one lump sum into the budget, the state budget, and then disperse the amount that he felt was necessary to fill a void because of our loss of revenue.
And in other communities as well.
No, not as well. Nutley got more than most people. Nutley, for the size of Nutley, got more money than any other town in the state of New Jersey. Did you know that?
I did, because when I look at the numbers for Camden and Asbury Park,
for the size of the town of Nutley, we received a tremendous amount of money based on our financial situation. When they throw it back in the budget again, it's a lump sum. And the governor took the piece that he wanted to give us. He did not duplicate the $5.5 million that we received. We're gambling. We don't know what's going to happen in the next session. We have to fight for a supplemental appropriation, hopefully to fill the void that we've created, that the state has created. And we don't know what the new governor is going to do in terms of the future. That's all I'm saying. It's not clear cut in terms of what your plans are and the way it's going to totally, not your, how it's all going to affect this town. And I don't care what those realtors say. I don't care what they say. There are people that are interested in coming here. We love this town, but the fact is, if it gets too expensive, okay, and the school system doesn't have the quality that it should have, we're going to chase people out. All I'm saying is to take a look at this, and maybe December was not the right time. Maybe this time we should hold it up until we find a clearer picture. Like you just said, it's going to be 5 years before we know what's going to happen at Roach.
but in 5 years, I'll have to
No, I'm
have
not
9
saying,
more
I'm
trailers.
not talking about you, about this town, 5 years before we even fill that void over there. I'm more interested in what the state is gonna do for us. And the other point, this is not your fault. Over the years, if they had done the maintenance on these buildings and expanded, appropriately over the years, we wouldn't be in the shape that we're in.
Although those referendums were
Yeah.
voted down.
Yeah, I know they're voting down, and I think that's part of the, the job that you have is in terms of getting people convinced that this is the right thing to do. But you start adding 170, plus the county another 150, plus the town. In 5 years, you know what these taxes are gonna be here? It's gonna be unbelievable. We have to have a plan in terms of stabilizing taxes. We have to be aggressive in terms of how we're gonna try to get that money back to give our taxpayers some relief in terms of transitional aid. And I want that opportunity to do it again. So that's what
And I
I'm saying.
absolutely